Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Vitakko ko deva naminda papancha sanya sankha nidano. Papancha sanya sankha samudayo. Papancha sanya sankha jatiko. Papancha sanya sankha pabhavo. Papancha sanyaya sati vitakko hoti. Papancha sanya sankhaya asati vitakko na hoti iti. Dear friends in Dhamma, so I thought of selecting a particular sutta which are more related to our thinking, because most of us are nowadays in a way thinkers, too much thinkers, overthinking, conceptual preparation, rumination, all that becomes one of the learning effect of the modern life. So even though we are advanced in technology, our minds are more and more into thinking, more and more into distractions, more and more into outside world, and we keep on thinking, either we are in America, either we are in Russia, either we are in Sri Lanka, doesn't matter, we are into too much thinking. So this is a kind of interesting subject that we need to address. So how this thinking happens and what are the causes, and one interesting aspect is explained in one sutta. This sutta is called SakkaPanha Sutta, available in the Digha Nikaya. Digha Nikaya is having many suttas which are more longer, lengthy discourses, and one discourse is named as SakkaPanha Sutta. Literally means the questions of the king Sakka. You know that in the Buddhist literature, or we can say according to the Buddhist teachings, there are 6 heavenly realms. And among them, Tavatinsa is one realm, heavenly realm, and the king of that Tavatinsa realm is called King God Sakka. He is a devoted person, and he once wanted to meet the Buddha. So rather than he immediately approaching the Buddha, he is sending one of his companions called Panchasika, and just to have an initial discussion. So he approached the Buddha and he somehow started the discussion, and then Sakka approached the Buddha, and then he also started the kind of a cordial discussion, and then he started asking very interesting questions. So we will start with those questions. So one question he is asking, King Samyojanadukho Marisa Deva Manussa Asura Naga Gandhabba Yechanye Santi Putukaya Te Avera Adanda Asapatta Abhyapanja Viharemu Averinoti Itive Nesam Hoti Atachapana Savera Sadanda Sapatta Sabhyapanja Viharati Saverinoti. Now this question appears like difficult for you to understand. It's a very Pali thing, but asking a very interesting question. Now he is asking, there are many different kinds of people, or many different kinds of beings are there. Say according to those days, Devas are there, Brahmas are there, Gandhabas are there, humans are there, Asuras are there. Many different categories of beings are there. They all want to live harmoniously, without any atrocities, without any harmful thoughts. They all want to live peacefully, isn't it? Now, if we simply consider the human species, now recently I think, I don't know, still it is continuing, the UN is going on, right? United Nations Assembly is going on. I heard that our president also came. No, I mean the Sri Lankan president. So many presidents and prime ministers, they attend, and they all want to live a harmonious life, right? All nations, all countries, all human beings want to live harmoniously without any conflicts, without attacking anyone. Everybody wants to have a beautiful life. Now King Sakka is asking, even though they have such a view, they have such a necessity to live harmoniously, live peacefully without any atrocities, but continuously there are atrocities. Continuously there are wars, battles, conflicts going on. What's the reason? Very interesting question Lord Sakka is asking. Now Buddha, rather than telling any materialist based kind of a solution, reason, he is going to more spiritual kind of a reason, more mental side of a reason. He is telling Issa Machariya Samyojanako Devanamindha, basically based on the Issa and Machari. That means jealousy and the avarice. Jealousy and avarice is the reason why these kind of conflicts are happening. Not that difficult to understand. Now, say for example, one particular nation, one particular country have a lot of resources and they are quite wealthy and they are the kind of superior and they are doing really well. So how the other countries might feel, how the other people might feel. So they might feel jealous about it, right? I mean, rather than having an empathetic joy and kind of a happy, joyful feeling about how they are doing, how the other particular well-to-do country is doing. So the other countries, other nations, other nationalities, other whoever, they can have some sort of a jealousy. Kind of a jealousy is there. So rather than supportive, rather than appreciating, rather than joyful about it, they can have jealousy. On the other hand, that well-to-do country, well-to-do nation, whoever prosperous, whoever successful, rather than they sharing their resources, rather than they sharing their skills, they also want to keep them onto them. Without sharing, without distributing, they have avarice. They have a kind of stinginess. They don't want to share. Then there is a conflict. One group is having more resources and they want to keep them onto themselves without sharing with the others. They have some stinginess, they have avarice. Other group, on the other hand, is kind of jealous of this group of people. Then there is a conflict. Every time there is a continuation of the conflict. So this is the one immediate reason that Buddha is pointing out. Till people are having this jealousy and avarice, then there are ongoing wars, ongoing battles, ongoing conflicts. So this is the answer Buddha is telling now. Now, rather than satisfied with that answer, King Sakka is asking the next question. What would be the next question?
What causes that?
Yeah. What is the reason for avarice and jealousy? Jealousy and avarice, what is the reason? What is the immediate cause for that? He's really, Yoniso Manasikara, he's going deeper, more to the source. He's not simply satisfied with this answer. Now he's asking what further causes, what are the further reasons for this avarice to arise? What are the reasons for the jealousy to arise? So that is his second question. Then Buddha is answering like this. Issa Machariyanko Devanamindha Piyapya Nidhana, Piyapya Samudaya. So people are having some sort of a distinct perception. I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I dislike this. Like and dislike is another kind of a dualistic approach that we all have. Certain people we like, certain people we don't like. Certain countries we like, certain countries we don't like. Certain weather situation we like, certain weather situation we don't like. Certain, say, whatever regulation we like, certain other things we don't like. So likewise, our way of thinking, our way of approach is always like and dislike. Like and dislike. So Buddha says, okay, people are having this kind of a perception, like and dislike. This is how we approach the life. I like this, I don't like that. That's it. So this is another reason, another cause, this avarice and jealousy to happen. Like and dislike is the reason. Then rather than stopping there, satisfying with that, King Sakka asks the next question. What is the cause for like and dislike? So he is really intelligent, so he is asking the next question. What is the reason for like and dislike? Then Buddha is answering. Chandroko Devanamindha, Piyapiyam ko devanam, the chanda nidanam, chanda samudaya, chanda jatina. Piya appiya, like and dislike happen because of the desire. So like and dislike appear like both are kind of contradicting each other. But source, if we consider the source is desire. Because of desire, I want to have something. Because of the desire, I want to get rid of something. I don't like another thing because still I don't. That's another desire. Internal cause is very much desire based, chanda based, desire based. As a result of the desire, I like someone. Based on the desire, I don't like another one. So desire is the root cause now, would they say. In a way, the craving, some dukkha samudaya, we can say, dukkha samudaya. Tanha, chanda, desire. So that is the cause for like and dislike. Now next section. Now Sakka is asking, what is the cause for chanda? What is the cause for desire? What is the cause?
The birth.
No. He is giving a different answer here. It's a very different approach that Buddha is taking. Now he is answering, Buddha is answering, Chando ko deva naminda vitakka nidana, vitakka samudayo, vitakka jatiko, vitakka pamaho. Desire is arising due to thinking. Desire arises due to thinking. And when thinking is available, desire happens. When thinking is not available, desire is not happening. So thinking is the cause for desire to arise. Now we are coming to a very interesting area. Now fully psychological. It is not the mere desire arising without any cause, without any reason. We have the tendency to think. Now we are coming to the subject. Thinking is there. Thinking makes we are desirous. We are desiring something. Now I will take a very simple example. Now suppose you are simply traveling by your car. Accidentally you go through a kind of a traffic jam. And somehow next to you is a beautiful girl, beautiful woman, beautiful handsome boy, whoever. Suppose you are still a young person, not yet married, searching your partner. Now you got a simple, just you saw that. You just simply saw that person. But kind of a triggering happened in your mind, and now you start thinking. You're thinking. You look at, and again you think, further thinking. Now you're imagining, you relate it to the past, further thinking. You imagine to the future, further thinking. Can I have a relationship with him? Can I have a relationship with her? So thinking, and then you go to the office, again thinking happen, return back to home, again thinking happen, go to the bed, further thinking happen. So thinking is the one further and further tangled in the mind. You become entangled in a way. You become tangled in that situation. Now the desire is growing. Because of that thinking, desire is growing. Now there may be a situation that you need to call that person, you need to meet that person, you need to date that person. Many things can happen, and ultimately without him or her you can't live, isn't it? You can't live without him, you can't live without her. These desires are now overwhelmed, but the root cause is you are responsible in too much thinking. Wherever you go, you start thinking. You come to the college, you start thinking. You come to the temple, you start thinking. Everywhere you go, you are thinking about them, thinking about him, thinking about her. And today also someone has written in the, their report, even though I am trying to meditate, keep on, my children are coming to my mind, right? Whether kids are there, or whether they are doing really well, or they are happy, or they are safe. So all these things can happen because the desire is there, but desire is promoted because of the thinking. So thinking is the answer now Buddha is telling. Thinking is the culprit to develop this desires. Okay. Now we go to another level. Now Sakka is asking the most dangerous question. He is asking, Bhante, what is the cause for thinking? What is the root cause for thinking? Now Buddha is giving a really interesting answer. Vitakkoko devanaminda papancha sankha nidano papancha sanya sankha samudayo papancha sanya sankha jatiko papancha sanya sankha pabhavu. Now we are coming to a really interesting deeper aspect of Dhamma. This thinking happens because of papancha sanya sankha. So what is papancha sanya sankha? Now probably you are familiar with the term papancha. Papancha is a literal meaning, we can say conceptual proliferation. Prapancha. Prapancha in Sinhala, Prapancha in Sanskrit, but in Pali it is papancha. In Pali, papancha means different meanings we can explain. So in one aspect of papancha is that our minds, whenever we come across any kind of a sense impingement, any kind of a sense object, say you see some object, so you can't simply merely keep it only to mere seeing. We have the tendency to recognize it, add a label, make an object, make a person, make some valuable thing, we personify, we attribute a person into that what we have seen, and like and dislike, and then we have many different kinds of thinking. All are some internal fabrications that we do. We are unable to keep this sight as mere sight. Merely seeing happens, but how we perceive this transaction is, I am here, I saw him. I am here, I saw her, or I am seeing her. Right? So we attribute a person into the picture. I am here, I am the one observing, I am the one seeing. And the other side, there is a person, there is a beautiful girl, beautiful woman, whatever, or beautiful flower. It's very beautiful, really attractive, really worth, something like that. So we are putting all these more and more detail into it, likes and dislikes onto it, and our thinking all into the multifaceted way. Not in a well-directed, properly focused, one-directional way of thinking, but into the diversified, more random kind of thinking is there into many directions. So our mind has this kind of a quality, kind of a characteristic. So rather than a proper, well-behaved way of directional, focused way of thinking, so the mind may think in many, many different ways. Its own perceptions can add to this. Own judgments can add to this. Preconceived ideas can influence this. Our upbringing can influence this. Maybe the politics can influence this. Our parents, whoever we associate, can influence this. All that influence in this whole process, and we are thinking in many, many different ways. Ultimately, what happens? It becomes a full confusion and too much thinking, overthinking, and we can become a victim of that thinking, and there is a state, I can't stop thinking now. Probably you may have experienced that when you are young, as I taken the example, once you saw that beautiful girl or whoever, and once you start thinking, that machine has started, and that machine is taking over now. Now you can't stop thinking. And even once you see the moon, you can see her. Right? So likewise, so wherever you see, and there you see whoever that you like or dislike, whatever it is. Dislike also is very similar. I mean, now I am taking the like side, the desire side, but dislike also very similar. Even though you come here, assume that there is a hateful person, you still bring that person, you start, even though you are trying to be mindful and you spread metta and all, again that person comes to your mind, again that you are attacking him, mentally attacking him, even killing him, who knows. and hating him, wishing him ill, kind of the harm, and all that, vihimsa and all that can happen. Wherever you go, you are still bringing that person, carrying that person, still hating that person. So this kind of very vicious way of thinking is available in our mind. So that is the issue. So this is kind of a dynamic aspect of this papancha, very beautifully explained in the Madhupindika Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, how whenever we come across some kind of a visual object, as a result of that visual object, how our mind starts thinking. Now, physically, scientifically, you all might know what's the kind of interaction happen, right? So there are light rays happening, and those light rays come to the eye and to the retina, and then those are transmitted to the brain, and those are then interpreted. All these things are quite scientific in a way, full biological. But we can't merely keep it to that level. Then we do some kind of a recognition, and that recognition cause and an attached kind of a feeling tone. I like, I dislike, I hate, I really like, I want. So as a result of that, you happy or unhappy, all that are the feelings arising. Now that further promotes thinking. The feelings and the perceptions, all that promotes thinking. And when that thinking happens, it is not properly behaved or well focused kind of a way of thinking, but multifaceted thinking, diversified kind of thinking. Ultimately it becomes kind of a confusion. You can think of with respect to the past, future, imaginations, your own inclusions, all that can happen. Ultimately it's called the papancha, conceptual proliferation, and you become a victim of conceptual proliferation. At that level you are a victim. At that level you are completely helpless. This is one side. It can happen even when you hear something. So how we perceive it is ignorant base. I am here, I can hear a beautiful song. Amaradeva is singing that. Andamani is singing that. Whoever is singing that. So we attribute a person to this particular song. It's really beautiful. I like it. I am here. Song is there. So this is how we dualistically perceive. Subject-object based dualistic way of interpretation. So this is how we learn. This is how we are perceived. Is it wrong? So this is how everybody talking to us, everybody taught to us, from the kindergarten, our teachers have taught us, you are here, your name is this, and the songs are this, colors are this, objects are this is a laptop, this is a table, this is a bottle, this is a cup. So we have given names, labels to everything. So this is how we perceive, isn't it? So whenever you see the camera, you can say, this is the camera, I see the video camera. So this is how we interpret. Based on that, I can like it, I don't like it. I want to have camera, I don't have a camera. So you can start thinking. Right? So even the smelling, tasting, touching, very similar. Even when the thought comes to your mind, you think thoughts belong to you. This is my lustful thought, or I am lustful, I am angry, rather than thinking, understanding, this is a mere thought of ill will, mere thought of lust, mere thought of desire. We don't think like that. Rather, I am angry, I am lustful, these are these are my lustful thoughts, these are my angry thoughts, I am useless because all these defilements are coming to my mind. So this is how we even accuse us. We make the thoughts belong to us. This is how we perceive. It can cause thinking, it can cause frustration. Now that is the Madhupindika Sutta side, particularly emphasizing the dynamic quality of the mind, how we have the capacity to diversify, thinking in many different directions. But here in this sutta, Buddha gave another aspect. That is what, so all these different objects, what we have produced, what humans have produced, what constructed due to many causes, have the capacity to promote thinking. Now, if I say this laptop is a product of papancha, this laptop is a product of too much thinking, do you agree with me? If I say this video camera is a product of papancha, now many people get together, they thought, okay, this kind of product will be very useful, it is possible to market, and we better include these different features, let's design this properly. And likewise, people get together, they thought a lot, they design a lot, and they come up with various different designs, and they argued among them, and then they come up with a better selection, and they go for that. And how the features are included, what colors are embedded, how the presentation, how the marketing. Now these are products, right? Who made it? So we made, in a way you can say, it is in a way many people are involved, they have think a lot, thought a lot, and these are products of papancha, in a way. So when someone else is thinking that, what happened to him? Now say, particular group has designed that, thought about it, come up with this product, and now they put it to the market. And you go, and you didn't have a desire even to buy a camera. You simply had some enough time and simply wandering through the supermarket, and then you saw this. What happened to your mind? They do the marketing now?
Design.
Yeah, they know how to market it. So the marketing people are there, advertising people are there. So they do all different kinds of, they may say, okay, this is a very good gift for your family, or this is a thank-giving product, or blah, 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 whatever it is. And then you start thinking, oh my goodness, it's really beautiful, it's really interesting, it's really appear like cheap, better I can buy it, that it will be useful in the future, even though currently there is no need. You like that. So whatever these products have the capacity to promote thinking. So this is what Buddha emphasized in this particular sutta. So all what we see have the capacity to promote thinking. At least one thought is enough. Then the dynamic side will take care of the multiplying part. All what we see, maybe camera, maybe laptop, maybe cup, maybe table, maybe Buddha statue, maybe bulb. We have labels, we have names, we have attributed a value to it, purpose of it. Our own value attributions are there. Now, enough things are there. So, what we see has the capacity to promote thinking. What we hear has the capacity to promote thinking. Smell, tasting, touching has the capacity to promote thinking. Now we are further tangled. Why? Our own capacity is to multiply thinking. Whenever kind of a sense interaction happens from the outside world, internally we have a kind of a tendency, kind of an addiction to multiply it, not kind of a simple, very directed way of thinking. Rather, there's a phrase in Sinhala, I don't know how to interpret it in English. Eka hata ganna again. So whenever we get a very little thing, but we multiply it, we get into the multifold effect and think in many different ways. Ultimately, we can't stop. So that is the dynamic aspect of papancha. On the other hand, the vicious other aspect of papancha is all these man-made products and all these constructed products have the capacity to promote thinking, trigger thinking in the human mind. So the products are there to promote thinking. When thinking happens, we have the capacity to diversify thinking and multiply thinking, ultimately we get into the conceptual perspective. So many of what we come across today are causing papancha in a way. causing conceptual proliferation. Now, if I ask you a question, can you think without concepts? Without concepts, we can't think. That's interesting. So, in a way, what is a concept?
Some idea, thinking of something. Some idea.
So, so in the human realm, so we have the capacity to label things. So, wherever we perceive, wherever we interact, we add a label. Okay, this is a cup. Let's agree to tell this as the cup. So, cup has a purpose. It may have a color, and for what purpose it is being used. So, likewise, the cup is a concept now. We all have agreed to tell this as the cup, and cup has a certain purpose. So, what kind of an activity that we are using the cup? We all know what activity that we are using the cup. And again, how to prepare a cup, someone else also know, everybody might know. So let's agree, let's have a kind of a convention. If we are using some kind of a tool to drink water or any other drink, a juice or whatever, and let's tell that utensil, okay, this is a cup. So it's a kind of a convention that we all have come to an agreement. So likewise, so human have the capacity to name objects. But these objects are also constructed. A particular fashion, a particular style is there to construct it. It's not a very primordial way, but they prepare in a particular way. How to prepare the handle, how to prepare the opening, and then how to have the shape. All that is in the conceptual mind in someone's. Now, say for example, you are given a piece of clay. Say a potter is given a piece of clay. Where the cup is first arising? In his mind, isn't it? So in his mind, he has a picture of the cup now. Now either he can prepare a pot, either he can prepare a cup, either he can prepare a sauce, either he can prepare any other whatever utensil. So all that is in his mind. So what is in his mind? Now slowly he is preparing using this clay. Ultimately it appears, okay, if the cup is in his mind, then he is preparing the cup. If the bottle is in his mind, so he is preparing the bottle. If the, say, a sauce is in his mind, then he is preparing the sauce. So first it appears in his mind, and then he materialized, prepared it physically, he said cup. So likewise, all these different objects, what we say, first appear in the visual form or whatever form in the minds of the human. So all those are in a way concepts. And how about the letters? How about the words? Now different languages. So when we are talking when we are making certain sound, so how are we interpreting? Okay, one person is making a sound and another person can understand. But some other person can't understand.
Being used to.
Yeah, so we are being taught, okay, if this person makes this kind of a sound, okay, that means this. So we are being taught. You have to go back to your kindergarten, how you are introduced to letters, how you are introduced to different colors, how you are introduced to different shapes. Now all these are learned information in our head. So whenever we come across different objects and colors and shapes and all that, then we quickly interpret that, map that with our stored information, and then we tell, okay, this is that, blah blah blah. So you can communicate, all that can happen. So anyway, So all these concepts are really useful in that sense, because otherwise we can't communicate. But the issue is, when concepts are taken too seriously, forgetting their purpose, real purpose, and we give life to them, we give too much importance to them, and we think they are really real. Now say we add several compartments one after the other, say 20 compartments, and then put an engine to the front. What shall we tell it? Train? Good, good. So where is the train?
In the rain. In mindset.
So, I mean, now you can understand, right? So, the different compartments are there. So, those compartments are prepared in a way we can get into it, we can comfortably sit on it, and then it will be dragged. So, the front, there's the engine, another compartment, engine compartment. So, when they are properly hooked together, connected together, so let's call it a train. So where is the train? So that's a kind of a concept there. So concept, so different compartments are, let's prepare different compartments, put an engine, and let's call it a train. Then everybody can understand. When I am referring train, you will understand train. When I am referring car, you can understand what is car. When I am saying bus, you can understand what is bus. Then we can properly communicate. Useful, really useful. But the issue is, we take these concepts too seriously. For us, a train is a very tangible thing. Car is a tangible thing. Bus is a tangible thing. And then we start thinking we can even argue, and even we can kill each other for these concepts. And whenever we see the train, we start thinking also. On the other hand, we prepared name and you design all that, and that also involves a lot of thinking. But when we see that prepared object, man-made object, that also start promoting thinking. So we have a kind of entanglement from different aspects, from different ways. It's a kind of vicious cycle. Our own behavior is to multiply thinking. Whenever kind of a sense interaction happens, we can't keep it to mere interaction. Mere seeing, mere hearing, mere smelling, mere tasting, mere touching, mere thinking. We can't keep to that level. We do a lot of modifications, we do a lot of additions, we do a lot of multiplications, and we do a lot of thinking then, getting to overthinking. That is one aspect, dynamic aspect of Papancha. Other static aspect of Papancha is what this SakkaPanha Sutta explained. All these different products, so-called products, have the capacity to promote thinking in the human mind. They don't tell me to think. Did the camera ask me to think? No, they are very innocent. They are very innocent. But my foolish mind have the tendency to think whenever I see something like this, isn't it? So therefore we are in a way tangled in two different ways. Internally also we have the dynamic aspect of Papancha. On the other hand, outside man-made products also have the tendency to promote thinking, conceptualizing. Now the question happens, how to overcome this? How to come out of this tangle? Isn't it? How to come out of this entanglement? Is there a way? So that is the question, next question from Lord Sutta. You can understand how intelligent this person is in a way. Okay? So he's a really intelligent person, wherever he is. So he has asked really valid questions. So he is asking, Katam patipanno panyamanis bhikkhu. Katam Paripanno Panamasa Bhikkhu Papancha Sanyaya Samvaya Paripajjati. And how one can overcome this? Katam Patipanno Panamasa Bhikkhu Papancha Sanyaya Sanka Nirodha Sarupa Dharmini Patipadam Patipanno Hoti. So how a person can behave in a way so that all this conceptual proliferation can be abandoned. So this is the solution we need, no? So Buddha is giving many different solutions and other places, but in this sutta, he is taking a vipassana feeling-based approach, and he is telling like this: Somanassam paham devanamita duvidena vada sevitapnambi asevitapnam. Domanassam paham devanamita duvidena vada sevitapnambi asevitapnam. Upekkam paham devanamita duvidena vadani sevitapnambi asevitapnam. I know, very practical answer now he is starting. Different kinds of feelings are arising. Now say you are drinking a coffee. And when you are drinking a coffee, assume that it has made you to have very pleasant feeling. Somana, very pleasant feeling. But if it is making you to think too much, if it is making you to desire something too much, if it is arousing anger in you, if it is arousing lust in you, if it is promoting any kind of a defilements in you, then Buddha say better avoid it. That there may be other very pleasant feeling, even though you are experiencing that, your mind calms down, your mind relaxes. And no much into the desire, no anger, no ill will, no hate, no lust, but you become more tranquil. Even though it is a pleasant feeling, what Buddha would say? He said, better you continue that. There are types of pleasant feelings, they promote wholesomeness in us, and there are types of feelings, they promote unwholesome in us. So Buddha's direction there is whatever pleasant feelings which promotes wholesomeness in the mind, you better associate. You can associate that, no harm. But if there are pleasant feelings which promotes unwholesome in the mind and really kind of harms the wholesomeness in your mind, then better abandon it. Hope you got the point. Okay, there are very pleasant, pleasurable feelings, certain feelings, even though they are pleasant, and you might feel, okay, it's really calm, my mind is cooling, my mind doesn't have any burning. Now say for example, we are meditating. Some of you might have mentioned, okay, I feel very calm, my mind is very pleasant. Yeah, here, right? Kind of even you can, if you practice further, you can even become blissful. It's very pleasant, very blissful even. But very calm. There is no any confusion. You are not into thinking. You are not into anger. You are not into jealousy. You are not into lust. But tranquil. Is it wholesome or unwholesome? Then it is wholesome. It promotes wholesome, right? So this kind of spiritual activities, even though it can have pleasant appearance, pleasant experience, it is better to proceed with it, better to continue that because it is really wholesome. It promotes wholesome qualities in our mind. Then Buddha asks us to promote it. Now say you are watching a movie, your favorite movie or whatever teledrama, whatever it is. And while you are enjoying that, you get a lot of sense pleasure you may be getting, sensual pleasure. Right? You start laughing, you start jumping, you start talking to the others, and you are arguing with others. And the opposite side you start hating. Is it wholesome or unwholesome? So in that sense we can understand, okay, even though it is having some kind of a pleasure, it is promoting some kind of an unwholesome aspect in the mind. So therefore Buddha's answer here is not really dependent on the pleasant or unpleasant. It depends on whether it is making the mind wholesome or unwholesome. So you are free to continue the pleasant experience provided it is making the mind more wholesome and reducing the unwholesome side. But if you are continuing any kind of experience, even though it is pleasurable, if it is promoting the unwholesome side in your mind, better avoid it, better prevent it. So same thing he is telling to the domanassa side. So there are certain experiences and it appears like painful. It may be a little difficult to sit. Many aches and pains are there. Now, for example, meditation. Some of you are new to the practice. Now, when you are going through the practice, and sometimes aches and pains can happen. But overall, if you consider, you are developing certain kind of a caliber in you, certain kind of a, say, skill in you, spiritual quality in you. You are developing effort, you are developing certain kind of a perseverance, you are trying to develop mindfulness, you are trying to develop concentration, you are trying to develop understanding, wisdom. Now all these are wholesome qualities, but overall experience may be a little painful. Still you haven't reached the present experience. At the beginning most of the time it may be a little painful, isn't it? So what would be the advice of the Buddha? To abandon or to continue? To continue, because you can understand either it is painful, doesn't matter, but what is important is even though it appears like a little painful, but it promotes the wholesome side of the mind and it reduces the unwholesomeness in the mind, so you better continue even with some patience with this little bit of painful experience. On the other hand, there could be certain painful experiences still can promote unwholesomeness in the mind. Then Buddha say, okay, you better abandon it. I mean, it could be kind of a ritual, it may be kind of a painful experience, but you may be hating it and all that. So then you better avoid it because the unwholesome side is developing. So same thing is explained to the neither pleasurable nor unpleasurable type of experience. That means the equanimous type of experience. So whatever the feeling that you are going through, if it is promoting the wholesomeness, then you can continue that. If it is promoting unwholesomeness, better avoid it. And now he is giving another aspect of it. Assume, now you are coming to, now let's take a simple example. Suppose now you are good in metta meditation. Some of you are practicing metta meditation. When you practice metta meditation, are you getting a pleasant experience or unpleasant experience? Okay, we say pleasant experience. Okay, fairly pleasant and you feel calm, then there is no ill will in the mind, you feel kind of elated and you can distribute the metta, loving kindness to everybody and really appear like very beautiful, very pleasant experience. Now Buddha coming to another level. Patta yamjanya somanassam imamko me somanassam sevato akusala dhamma parihayanti kusala dhamma vivaddanti evarupan sevitamma yatta yanche savitakkam savicharam yanche avitakkam avicharam ye avitakka avicharete panita dare. Now he is giving another very subtle differentiation there. There may be a pleasant experience with thinking. Say for example, metta. So you are practicing metta meditation. May I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering, may all living beings may be well, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from suffering. So you are doing like a mantra, you are doing like a repeated phrase in the mind and further you are repeating that. And all anger is fairly subsided, you feel calm, you feel relaxed, feel happy, very pleasant, like floating, and you feel really good. And you better continue. Now the point is highlighting there It's very, very interesting. And he is telling, if there is a situation, if there is a present situation, without thinking and with thinking, which one is much better? Say metta. You are simply spreading metta without thinking. One side. You are spreading metta with thinking. Which one is more sublime, more beautiful, and much better? Which one do you think?
We have to think and
Sorry? Without thinking, with thinking. Okay. Two different ideas are there. Interesting.
we have to visualize in mind when we are.
Oh, visualize.
Swami knows that we have metta karma.
So let's say what Buddha said, so rather than what I say.
Certainly, yes.
Tatta yanche savitakkam savicharam, yanche avitakkam avicharam. So there are savitakka savichara. That means vitakka and vichara is present. So your mind is applied, you are thinking, certain amount of thinking is there, visualizations are there, your mind is associating a particular object, you are kind of making an object and thinking again and again, applying your mind and spreading metta. Other side, yanche avitakkam avichara. So you are spreading metta to the whole world, but mind is very clean, fairly empty. Metta quality is there in the mind, but no thoughts, no thinking. So what Buddha has taken up, ye avitakka avicharete panitutare. The mind without thinking, without visualization is much sublime. Now what happened to papancha? No papancha. Complete free from thinking, completely freedom from thinking, even in metta. So remember how you see how the Buddha is taking us to a very refined mental state. Now we had a big question, right? We argued that we try to understand that how these concepts are there, conceptual proliferation is there, overthinking is there. We had a big problem. But now, even with this metta practice, so Buddha has taken us to a very pleasant experience, completely free from conceptual proliferation, completely free from even thinking. Very pleasant. Even through samatha meditation. Now, metta is samatha meditation. Assume now you are doing Buddha-anusati. Say you are practicing Buddha-anusati. So you are taking 9 qualities of the Buddha, again and again you are keeping your mind attention on these 9 qualities. Thinking is there, right? Thinking is there. Vitakka and vichara is there. Very pleasant, by the way. And what you need to do now? Now you reduce the qualities. Okay, you take 5 qualities. Thinking less or thinking more? You have 9 qualities and thinking involved. You have 5 qualities and thinking involved. Which one is thinking less? 5 qualities. Now suppose if you want to further refine, what you need to do? You need to reduce further. You take only 1 quality. One really attractive, one really touching quality. And you use only that, say Arahant. You simply use that term Arahant. Very pleasant, very simple. Your mind is really calm, really quiet, really relaxed. Little thinking only. Little reminder only. Suppose you are coming to a stage, even that is stopped. Completely calm, completely pure, really relaxed, no thinking at all. That is most sublime. So that is the real interesting message that Buddha is giving. So different techniques are there, even beautiful different meditation objects, meditation subjects are there. They need certain concepts at the beginning. We are making use of the concepts at the beginning. But slowly we need to fade off them. As we are continuing, as we are promoting or as we are progressing, we have to reduce thinking. We have to reduce the concepts. And we have to come to a level, now the mind is no thinking and no need concepts. So it's a gradual fading off, not that we hate concepts. So there is a purpose of concepts, there is a usage of concepts, there is a benefit of concepts, but gradually we fade off them and can come to a level the mind is very quiet, very tranquil and very pleasant, that is more sublime, no concepts. And in the Vipassana meditation, that is more beautiful. And you understand how the conceptual proliferation happens within you. As I mentioned, say you see this camera and how the conceptualizing happens in the mind. Now into the Vipassana, more into the insights. So ignorantly we prepare a self here, identification here. Ignorantly we prepare an object here, camera here. But in the real sense, there is no person here, there is no individual here, there is no self here. There also, there is no camera there. It's a combination of many little components, electronics. Right? Camera isn't simply a label, a name that we have given. Here also, just the mere 5 aggregates. But we have given a name. We have attributed a kind of a individual, but that's a conceptual. Conceptually we have attributed. So if we are able to thoroughly understand that through wisdom, you may slowly stop that fabrication. I am not saying it happens immediately, but as you continue the practice, particularly the Vipassana practice, there could be a situation, ditte dittamattam bhavissati, sute sutamattam bhavissati, mute mutamattam bhavissati, viññāte viññātamattam bhavissati. You see, but not ignorantly. You are not making a self here. There is no observer as me, myself, I am the one seeing. There is no such thing. There is no personification here. There also you are not making an object. Right? You are not making an object there. But mere seeing happens as a mere experience. Similarly, the hearing. Hearing happens, but you are not making, I am the one listening, I am the one hearing. I hear the song, or that beautiful song, whatever. Rather than that, mere listening is there. You are not making a self out of that. Similarly, the smelling, tasting, touching. Even the thought happens to the mind. There is no thinker. There can be a thinker without thoughts. Oh, what's that? Thoughts without a thinker. Sorry, I made a mistake. There can be thoughts without a thinker. Thoughts happen due to many reasons because of the ignorance maybe. But there is no person here who is thinking. Mere thinking is there as a transaction, as an experience. So this is not simply samatha. This is not simple tranquility meditation. To reach this, you need fair amount of insight meditation, Vipassana practice. So if you are able to happen that, now you don't need to close your eyes and say Buddha Anusatiyo Metta. That is samatha. Through that also you can achieve that. But now you can simply interact with the people. You can open your eyes, you can hear a voice, everything can happen, but mind is not proliferating. Mind is not into conceptual proliferation. You can understand what a depth that Buddha has shown. So either from the tranquility meditation you can achieve it, either from the Vipassana meditation you can achieve it in a more thorough way. It doesn't mean that we hate concepts. We understand concepts as concepts. One has to understand the limitations of the concepts, their purpose. And one can come to a level, okay, concepts are mere concepts. How can I have a fairly advanced, fairly wise way of living without unnecessary thinking, without overthinking, without obsessions, without calmness, or with calmness, with tranquility, with complete stillness of the mind. So this kind of a beautiful path is available to us. This kind of path is explained by the Buddha. I invite all of you to practice and enjoy that, experience that as much as possible. And with that information, I conclude today's sermon. Thank you very much for attending to this. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Someone wants to ask a question, so I allow the questions. Yes.
Very much for this nice sermon. You mentioned about the things that can promote, that has a capacity to promote thinking.
Correct.
And even you mentioned that the merely seeing.
Right.
So that also has a capacity to promote thinking, right?
No. Mere seeing can happen without thinking. Seeing is there, but is it? But if you are free to think, by the way, it is not that I am here to prohibit thinking. Don't take it to that extreme. Don't take it to that extreme. So thinking is a capacity. Thinking is a kind of a skill that we all humans have. So here the idea is, when there's a purpose, when there's a necessity, when there's a benefit, you can think. But we should have the capacity also to calm down the mind, stop thinking, keep the mind quiet when thinking is not necessary. So that is the message Buddha is promoting in the Vitaka Sutta, in the Majjhima Nikaya. Yang vitakkang akankissati, tang vitakkang vitakkissati. When he wants to think, he can think. He is free to think. Yang vitakkang nakankissati, na tang vitakkang vitakkissati. When he doesn't want to think, he is not thinking. Simple as that. So in a way, so thinking becomes completely under your control.
So if I ask you, like, we have two things, one is seeing and one is watching, so which one is understanding?
Yeah. Now, say for example, when we purposely watch, I want to see the camera. So there's a deluded interpretation, there's a deluded intentional thinking. That is purposeful, intentional thinking, then naturally I may get into thinking. Okay, intentional seeing, it can promote thinking. But assume that I am simply keeping the mind very quiet and I am simply glancing like this, then naturally this object coincides with the alignment of the eye when the seeing happens. Does that mean I have to think? So seeing has happened. Is it really necessary for me to get involved, have a desire and think about it, imagine about it? Is it really necessary?
Mind is not in that.
Exactly. So mind doesn't want to get involved. So that actually I am talking the state of the arahant, basically. So don't think I am an arahant. I am explaining Buddha's teaching. Please understand. So Buddha's teaching there. So you can refer very beautiful sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya Cakkanipata. So how the arahant is behaving. Many different visual objects can hits the retina of his eye in a way. The physical interaction can happen. Many objects, because he's keeping his eyes open. He's not a blind person. Many visual objects can come align with his visual perception, right? But interesting thing is, his mind remained calm, his mind remained quiet, his mind remained uninvolved, completely tranquil. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So he's a really beautiful person in a way. He can see, he can hear, smell, taste, touching can happen, but mind remain calm, mind remain tranquil, mind remain uninvolved. But if he want to buy a camera, then probably he can go and ask the camera. That's a different thing, right? There he has a purpose. But if he doesn't want, then the mind remain calm, mind remain tranquil, mind remain empty, still. That is well explained in the Sona Sutta. That is the actual state of the arahant. Yeah. Yes.
So I've heard of a quote that said.
Please louder. Yeah.
So I've heard of a quote that says, "The empty mind is a devil's workshop."
Empty mind is a
Devil's
Devil workshop.
Devil's workshop.
Devil's workshop.
There's a phrase.
Then?
So, it's like, if you don't think, does that mean that, like, you have bad thoughts?
Can't hear you.
Bad
So
thoughts.
if your mind is empty, does that mean you have, like, bad thoughts?
Empty mind, how can have the bad thoughts?
But because the quote said that the empty mind is a devil's workshop, meaning
Now this, okay, let's understand like this. Now, if we take an example of the ocean, okay, so assume now if we consider the beach, this very noisy, lot of waves are there, right? All this noise is there in the beach. Assume now you are going little deep. What happened to the noise? What happened to the waves?
you can't hear it.
Maybe less noise, less waves. You go to the middle of the ocean. What happened there? Completely calm, fairly quiet, no waves, but deep. Right? So our human mind is like that. This is a simile given by the Buddha. Our ignorant mind is like a beach. Too much thinking, too much hateful thoughts, as you said. That is the devil. What's that? Workshop of the devil. That is the workshop of the devil. So you can't stop thinking. You hate. Today you hate. Tomorrow you hug, and tomorrow again hate. Next day again you hate. Again you hug. So all that is there. That is the real workshop. But once you go deeper, calmness is there, tranquility is there. So how can you make your mind angry without thoughts? That's it. So the empty mind is not a thinking mind. It's a quiet mind. It has to be a quiet mind. Yeah. Oh, you have any other points?
But like the quote said that the empty mind is the devil's workshop. So like, isn't that mean that
That's not a Buddha's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of a wrong quote. The quote itself is wrong. So this person, whoever is unable to make the empty mind this, so he hates it. Yeah.
So you mentioned that getting to the tranquil level without the vitakka vichara.
Right.
So let's assume the example you get to the say arahan, and you can
Yes.
reach that and get to the calmness.
Correct.
And the next level is you maintain that tranquility without the word or the vitakka vichara
Correct.
arahan.
Correct.
My question is that voluntary decision you make, or does your mind gets there eventually?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to make it further refined, definitely that vitakka has to be valid. Now, I will take a simple example. Now, say you are practicing anapanasati. At first, to take you to the proper track, you are using the vitakka.
Yes.
So, when you understand, when you are experiencing in-breath, you can simply note it as in. When you are experiencing out-breath, out. In, out, in, out. So it's a vitakka. But your mind becomes more and more tranquil, fairly concentrated, fairly calm, and you come to a level it is really, really calm now. Okay, really, really subtle. But again, in, out, what happened then? You feel now in, out makes the mind more little disturbed. I better stop in, out now. I better not to use this technique now. Let the mind further calm down. No in, out. No vitakka. Then it becomes more tranquil. Same thing. So the technique what we have used at the beginning might not be useful at another level. You have to abandon that.
Venerable sir, there's a minor question. Now we are very fortunate because current Sakka is SakkaPanha.
Yes.
Yes. So is this the sutta that he became?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes. This is Sutta. I mean, after now he asked a lot of questions. I have taken just one question, one particular important area, particular theme. He further asked many questions. Buddha has given many answers, and he became a SakkaPanha. God Sakka has become a SakkaPanha in this Sutta.
And only Buddha himself never.
Maybe that? Maybe I don't know.
He didn't say anybody. He died there and
again he immediately reborn there. Correct.
Now,
Yes. Such story is there. Yes. Okay, anyway, now we have a SakkaPanha also. God Sakka is a good SakkaPanha person now. Anyway, now we will wind up the session and thank you very much for participation.
Thank you.
And